Everything you think is happening to you is really happening through you. There is one truth that makes all other truths clear. Your whole life is a reflection of your inner world. Every person you meet, every challenge you face, every situation you find yourself in, it is all you meeting yourself again and again. When this truth truly settles in, not just in your thoughts but deep within you, every other piece of advice becomes unnecessary, because you will finally hold the key that unlocks everything. Today, I will show you the insight that transformed how we understand the mind. And if this truly connects, you may never need another lesson about healing, transformation, or self-improvement again, because you will finally see the hidden game you have been playing all along. The truth is, you have never experienced reality directly, not once. Every single moment of your life has been filtered through your own mind, through your memories, emotions, projections, and unconscious patterns. You have been living inside a world shaped by your own psychology, believing it was real. That betrayal you faced was life showing you something about trust. That opportunity you missed was your inner world revealing something about readiness. The pattern that keeps repeating is your psyche trying to make something conscious. You have not been living life. You have been living your psychology. Until you truly see this, you will stay trapped in a loop, fighting illusions and mistaking them for real problems. This is not just theory. It is the structure of human experience. Once you understand this, everything changes. Not because your outer world changes, but because you finally see what it truly is. A perfect reflection of your inner state. You have been blaming the mirror, not realizing it was only showing you yourself. Everything you experience reflects your inner world, not through magic or luck, but through a clear and predictable process. Here is how it works. Your unconscious mind constantly projects itself onto the world. Every unaccepted part of you appears outside you, disguised as people and situations. The shadow shows up as those who irritate you. Your inner feminine or masculine appears as those you are drawn to. Your wounds show up as the problems that keep repeating. You are not experiencing the world as it is. You are experiencing your own mind expressed through it. Think about someone who annoys you for no logical reason. That is not about them. It is about the part of yourself you have rejected. You dislike in them what you refuse to face in yourself. Now think of someone you are deeply drawn to. That attraction is not about them either. It is your own unexpressed potential being reflected back at you. Everything in your life works this way. A woman who kept attracting narcissists realized she was projecting her own hidden self-importance. A man who always felt betrayed discovered he was avoiding his own capacity for betrayal. A person surrounded by chaos learned they were seeing their own inner confusion mirrored around them. The moment you understand this, everything begins to shift. You stop fighting the mirror. It is like trying to hit your reflection because you dislike what you see. Yet that is what people do all their lives. Fighting others who are simply showing them who they are. There was once a woman who believed everyone around her was controlling. Her partners, her bosses, her friends. She spent years running from them, changing jobs, relationships, and cities. Then she finally saw the truth. The control was not out there, it was inside her. She was afraid of her own controlling side, so she projected it onto everyone else. When she accepted that part of herself, everything changed. Not because others changed, but because she stopped fighting her own reflection. She took back her power, embraced who she was, and suddenly the controlling people either disappeared from her life or no longer felt controlling at all. This is the first key understanding. The problems in your life are not really life problems. They are projection problems. You are not struggling with reality itself. You are struggling with your own unconscious patterns appearing as reality. Every difficult person reflects a difficult part of you. Every situation that keeps repeating shows an aspect of your psyche that has not yet been accepted. Every pattern is a projection asking to be recognized and reclaimed. Here is what makes this understanding so powerful. Once you see that everything is a projection, you stop trying to fix life and start integrating yourself. You stop fighting what is outside and begin working on what is within. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and become a student of your own mind. The mirror principle changes everything because it reveals that you have been playing both roles in every conflict. You are both the creator and the creation, the dreamer and the dream, the one who perceives and what is being perceived. You are not simply living life. You are unconsciously creating it moment by moment, then forgetting that you are the one creating it. Your unconscious mind is always shaping your reality through projection, while your conscious mind experiences it as though it is happening to you. It is like a filmmaker who makes a movie, forgets they made it, then watches it and believes it is real life. Here is how it works. Your psyche holds patterns, complexes, and unfinished emotional stories. These create what can be called archetypal situations, the core templates of human experience. Your unconscious keeps recreating these situations until you recognize them as your own creation. The abandonment complex produces experiences of abandonment. The authority complex brings conflict with authority. The unworthiness complex creates experiences of rejection, not once, but over and over until you finally see the pattern. You are not cursed or unlucky. You are unconsciously creative. This can be seen in every person. A man who felt unseen by others could not see himself. A woman who always felt judged was running a constant inner courtroom where she judged herself endlessly. A person who believed life was meaningless had never asked what meaning actually meant to them. Each one was creating their world from their own unconscious beliefs and then experiencing it as an external fact. Here is the most surprising part. You are doing the same thing right now. The way you are taking in these words, the reactions, resistance, or recognition you feel, all of it is your psyche shaping your experience of this moment. Two people can read or watch the same thing and have completely different experiences. One feels awakened, the other feels nothing. Same content, different minds, different realities. This is because psychological reality feels more real to us than the physical world. You do not live in the world itself. You live in your perception of it. And that perception is built from your unconscious projections. This is why positive thinking alone does not work. You cannot consciously talk yourself out of unconscious patterns. It is like trying to change a movie by shouting at the screen, while the real film is still being played from the projector behind you. The projection comes from deeper than your thoughts. But the moment you realize that you are the one projecting, that you are creating the experience you are having, everything changes. Not because you gain control over everything, but because you finally see what is truly happening. You stop asking, why is this happening to me, and start asking, what part of my psyche is creating this? You stop being a victim of your movie and start becoming curious about why you are playing this particular story. When something challenging happens, instead of reacting, ask yourself what your unconscious might be trying to show you through this event. When someone triggers you, ask what part of yourself they might be reflecting. Treat your entire life as a message from your unconscious mind to your conscious awareness, because that is exactly what it is. Every problem you have ever had comes down to the same root issue: unconsciousness. The real struggle in human life is not with the outside world, but with the unseen forces within you that quietly shape everything you experience. Every other problem is just a reflection of this one core issue. Depression is unexpressed grief or anger turned inward. Anxiety is the unconscious trying to become conscious. Addiction is unmet inner needs seeking fulfillment through blind habits. Relationship problems are simply unconscious projections interacting with other unconscious projections. It is all the same problem, just wearing different faces. Think about the biggest problem in your life right now. That problem itself is not the real issue. The real issue is the hidden pattern inside you that keeps creating it. And that pattern will continue to recreate the same kind of situation again and again until you finally bring it into awareness. There was once a woman who went through 5 marriages, each one ending in the same painful way. She thought she just had bad luck with men. But when she finally looked deeper, she saw it was one single unconscious pattern repeating itself 5 times, only disguised as different people. Once she became aware of the pattern, she no longer needed another marriage to learn the same lesson. The pattern dissolved because the unconscious had become conscious. This is why it is said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Every so-called destiny is just an unconscious pattern playing itself out. Every streak of bad luck is unconscious repetition. Everything that is just how life is at the moment is silent acceptance of an unexamined pattern. But here is the liberating truth. If all problems are really one problem, then there is only one true solution: consciousness. Not positive thinking, not spiritual enlightenment, but simple, clear awareness. The ability to see what is actually happening instead of what you imagine is happening. When you see that you are the one creating your experiences of rejection or abandonment, the pattern loses its control. When you notice that you are projecting your shadow onto others, the energy of that projection returns to you. When you recognize that you are acting out an unconscious complex, the complex dissolves. Consciousness acts like a universal solvent, dissolving every problem by showing that the problem was never what you thought it was. There was once a man who faced a flood of terrifying visions, overwhelming emotions, and deep psychological confusion. His first instinct was to fight it, to fix it, to make it stop. But then he realized the chaos itself was not the real issue. It was his unconsciousness about the chaos that caused the suffering. When he stopped resisting and began observing, When he brought awareness to what was hidden, the confusion turned into understanding. What once felt like madness became insight. The emotions that once felt destructive became creative. The chaos that once seemed meaningless revealed deep purpose. Nothing outside him changed. Only his awareness did, and that changed everything. This is the master key. Every problem is solved the same way, by seeing what was previously unseen, by bringing light to the parts of yourself that have been operating in the dark, by recognizing that your projections are your own creations. You do not need many different solutions for many different problems. You only need one thing: consciousness applied to unconsciousness. That is the entire process. This is why understanding projection might be the last lesson you ever need. Once you see how it works, you stop searching for answers in the outer world and start uncovering them within yourself. Every teacher you follow, every book you read, every video you watch, you are not truly learning from them. You are learning from your own projections reflected through them. You are recognizing in them what already exists inside you, waiting for permission to surface. Teachers and mentors simply serve as mirrors until you realize the wisdom you see in them has always been yours. The same is true here. These words are not mine and not anyone else's. They are yours, expressed through another voice, waiting for you to claim them. Think about every moment of clarity you have ever had. It never came from discovering something new. It came from finally seeing what had always been there. The truth did not arrive from outside. It was revealed from within. You did not learn something foreign. You remembered something forgotten. Everything you need to know, every answer, every insight, every key, already lives within your unconscious mind, waiting to be brought into awareness. This was proven through the method known as active imagination. In this process, people would engage in dialogue with their own unconscious, and profound wisdom would rise from within. Wisdom they never realized they possessed. It did not come from outside, but from the depths of their own mind. The wise old man who offered guidance was their own inner wisdom taking form. The divine child who brought renewal was their creative potential revealed. The shadow that spoke uncomfortable truths was their own rejected understanding, returning to be heard. It was always them, communicating with themselves through the language of projection. This is why you do not need more information. You need greater awareness of the information already within you. You do not need more answers. You need to see the answers hidden inside your own questions. Every search is a subtle way of avoiding. Every outward pursuit is an escape from inward recognition. Every new book, video, or teaching becomes a distraction from the one thing that matters. Facing what you already know but have not wanted to admit. The real privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Yet you already are that person, only unaware of it. You do not need to become anything new. You only need to recognize what has always been true. The seeking ends the moment you realize that what you have been searching for is the very thing doing the searching. Here lies the final understanding that changes everything. You are not who you think you are. You are the awareness that knows who you think you are, beneath all projections, patterns, and complexes. There exists something deeper that does not project the self, not the ego you identify with, but the deeper awareness that observes every identity. This self has no problems because it does not identify with problems. It has no patterns because it is what notices patterns. It does not project because it is what recognizes projection itself. You have spent your life identifying with what you are aware of, mistaking your personality, your emotions, and your struggles for your identity. But you are not those things. You are the awareness that sees them. It is as if you have been watching a movie and believing you were one of the characters, when in truth, you are the one watching the film. You are not your life story. You are what experiences that story. This deeper self is what some describe as the true witness. It is the process of shifting from ego to awareness, from character to observer, from projection to the space beyond projection. This is not avoidance. It is a psychological reality. Right now, you are aware of reading these words. You are aware of thoughts forming, emotions rising and falling. That awareness is closer to what you truly are than any thought or feeling passing through it. And when you begin to identify as awareness instead of the content within it, every problem begins to change. You are not depressed. You are aware of depression moving through you. You are not anxious. You are aware of anxiety arising. You are not your trauma. You are aware of trauma patterns expressing themselves. This is not denial. It is a fundamental shift in identity. And from this shift, new possibilities appear. Ones that were invisible when you thought you were the problem itself. There was once a man who went through a period of overwhelming visions and emotions. His ordinary mind feared he was losing control. But then he discovered something beyond the fear, a still witness inside that could observe the chaos without being consumed by it. From that position, he could face the visions directly without drowning in them. He could speak to the inner figures without becoming them. He could experience transformation without losing his sense of self. He found the part of him that stayed steady while everything else changed. The awareness that remained clear even when thoughts were cloudy. The inner witness that stayed free even when the mind struggled. Once you find this within yourself, once you realize you are the observer rather than what is being observed, everything begins to shift. You stop trying to fix your projections and start observing them. You stop fighting your patterns and begin to study them. You stop identifying with your problems and instead grow curious about them. So the question becomes, how do you live from this awareness? How do you move from projection to recognition? This approach was simple yet revolutionary. See everything that happens as communication from your unconscious. When someone triggers you, ask yourself, what part of me is this person revealing? When the same pattern repeats, I wonder what my unconscious is trying to bring into awareness through this repetition. When a problem won't go away, question what unacknowledged part of me is creating it. But don't approach this with the ego's urge to fix or control. Do it from awareness, with honest curiosity. You're not trying to stop projecting. That can't be done. You're learning to recognize projection while it unfolds. You're not trying to erase patterns. You're learning to understand them. This is what it means to hold the tension between opposites. To live your life fully while at the same time observing it unfold. To be both actor and audience, participant and witness. It takes discipline. The ego either wants to merge with the problem, saying I am this, or escape through denial, saying I'm beyond all of this. But growth happens in the middle. where both are seen clearly. You begin to say, I'm experiencing depression instead of I'm depressed. Anxiety is moving through me instead of I'm anxious. A pattern is unfolding instead of this always happens to me. Small shifts in language that open massive shifts in awareness. Here's the deepest truth. Your entire life is your unconscious mind trying to become conscious. Every person, situation, and experience is your inner world reflecting itself outward. You're not here to conquer life. You're here to awaken to it. You're not here to fix every issue. You're here to recognize that problems are mirrors. You're not here to become someone new. You're here to remember who you already are. This isn't a philosophy or belief. It's reality itself. Your unconscious is constantly expressing, and life is constantly reflecting. The only question is whether you're awake enough to see it. When you truly understand this, you realize you don't need another teaching or video. You already hold the key. Everything is projection, and life is your mirror. Awareness resolves every problem by showing you that it was never separate from you. Most people will hear this and immediately start searching for the next answer, the next video, the next voice outside themselves. They'll keep chasing instead of seeing, projecting instead of recognizing. But maybe you're done with that. Maybe you're ready to stop looking for answers and start realizing that you are the answer, playing hide and seek with yourself through experience. If you want to go deeper, subscribe. But understand this, everything you're searching for already exists within you, reflected as the life you're living, waiting to be recognized as your own. The entire journey leads to one truth. It's all you. It has always been you. The moment you see this completely, the seeking ends and true discovery begins. This might be the last video you ever need. Not because it gives every answer, but because it reveals where all answers have always been, within you.